Thankful with everybody here, Aston Villa Club, and the supporters today. They were amazing supporting us, and the players they done the game plan we prepared, and really I am so happy. But it's the first step. We have players with good skills and with good paces, and I think today was very good at the end with the result, and I think the way we made in 90 minutes was to be optimistic, but we have to work a lot to continue improving.
You're losing the game, start first half, start second half, and that's not acceptable. You have to be ready for the game. We were not. They look more fresh, more ready. In football you have always get your own earnings, and today we were not good enough.
We knew they was going to come out, a new manager, new feeling. The crowd were going to be behind them. We did expect it, but it shows that obviously we weren't ready for it, and we suffered in the first 20 minutes, and I think the game has gone from there.
When a new gaffer came in, I think he said to everyone it's a clean slate, whether you started the last 14 games or was on the bench for the 14 games, so it's a clean slate. And obviously when he come in this week, he gave us a lot of confidence and belief, and I think I showed out there today.
Erik, how would you reflect on the result and the performance today?
Bad performance, clear. Collectively, no good. No following the plan, no following the rules we have, and they take benefit. We didn't know how they come. New manager, different organisation, but then it's not possible. You lose the game in start of the first half and start of the second half.
Yeah, that was the issue. What did you make of their start? I suppose were you expecting that they might come at you from the off because of the atmosphere and the fact that they've got a new manager?
It's not the fact. It's not the atmosphere, but it's just the way you are with 11 on the pitch. And when you following the rules, coming to the game, keeping the ball, play composed, and just do your work also in defending, following the rules. And then the 2 goals who we concede in the start is not necessary.
The goal from Luke Shaw on the stroke of half time, did you think that gave you a good chance then to go and get something from this game?
The last part of the first half, we create good chances out of good football, and that is what you expect from the start. We created with Garnacho, with Ronaldo, before Luke Shaw, deflected shot, but in that stage in the game we were dominant, dictating the game, and that is what I expected from the start. But then you have to be ready for this game, and we were not, and that's no good, and that lack of attitude is unacceptable.
It must have been frustrating for you as a manager and as a coach to see the concession of that goal so early in the second half after you'd got back into the game.
That's what I say. You lose the game, start first half, start of second half. You can't concede a goal. I think when you stay in the game, I have the feeling you can get the right result here, and we didn't. It's too early. You encourage them with that goal.
Did you still feel there was a chance to get something out of the game, even at 3-1 in the early part of the second half?
Yes, long time. I did. I think when we get back in the game 3-2, I think then everything was possible. And I have to say they fight for it to get that goal, but we didn't get it. And only the last part, say the extra time, the belief was gone. But before that, the belief was there. If we get the goal 3-2, I think everything could happen.
It's been such a good run. I mean, that's the first defeat in 10 games. You've barely conceded any goals. So how frustrating is that for you, bearing in mind the run that we've been on?
I'm really disappointed, but I think it's the lesson. You have to be ready for every game, and you can't start, and especially not when an opponent is in the circumstances Villa is, because they are down in the Premier League. New manager, here in Villa Park, then you have to be ready for the game, and that is really pity we were not.
Thank you very much, Erik. Cheers. You just left the dressing room. What is the feeling there after that defeat?
Obviously disappointed. We knew that today was going to be a difficult game, but I think we started we didn't start the way that we wanted the first 10 minutes and especially the first 5 minutes after the second half. I think it was decisive for them, and it's a lesson for us for the next games. We have to start much quicker, much sharper, and obviously disappointed because we wanted to win.
I guess you would have expected them to start like this, trying to impress, I guess, a new manager, and they certainly came at you at the start of the game. Yeah,
that's why I said we had to start with energy. We knew that they wanted to bring the crowd with them, and they did. And I think we let them gain confidence during the first 15 minutes. Then we started to have the ball with a little bit of control. We had created some chances. I think we could have gone to halftime with at least a draw, but we should have started really better the second half, and I don't concede that goal. I think it was decisive.
Did that goal from Luke, though, just on the stroke of half-time, give everyone a boost? Did you think at half-time we can go on and get something from this game? Yeah,
obviously. I think that goal helped us give a little bit more extra energy for the second half. But like I said, we didn't start the way that we wanted the second half. We should have not conceded that goal. I think it would open spaces after that, but then they just defended well, and it was hard to find spaces there. But I think we can do better and improve.
Must be so frustrating conceding so early in the second half, particularly after having the boost of that goal that changed the game at the end of the first 45 minutes.
Yes, obviously it went against our plans. We wanted to come to the second half with control of the ball, with control of the game, score as soon as possible, but it was the opposite. Like I said, it's a lesson moment. It's a moment that we have to look back and learn from it, and try to get better next games.
I mean, it's the first defeat in 10, been on a good run. Playing them again, obviously, on Thursday, but are you surprised by what happened today? Because he's been on really good form of late.
Yeah, it doesn't change our mentality of what we have been doing for the last few games. It's been really good. This will not erase what we are doing, but obviously it's a step back, and we have to look at him as a lesson, and then try to do it better in the next games. And we have another opportunity on Thursday, and it's a competition that we want to get through.
Well, as Unai Emery said, that will give Villa fans some optimism going forward.
Of course it was. Villa were excellent today in everything that they did. The tactical tweak with Bailey, sort of playing at the two up front with Watkins, Buendia to the left, it just gave them a little bit more fluidity in their game. And it was great to watch. I know, obviously, had that disappointing defeat to Newcastle 4-0, but the bounce back today.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned the tactical tweak. He's a tactically astute manager, and he got it spot on, because you could have driven a bus through some of the gaps in Manchester United today.
Yeah, Man United in midfield certainly were off it today. We've got Casemiro and Eriksen playing as the two. But if you see Lindelof here, he comes out and he's trying to win the ball for his team. And Casemiro's in this position. He's got to drop back into that position just to give his team some help. Eriksen here, I don't know why he's trying to gamble. He goes forwards instead of backwards. Then Casemiro's too late. Lovely touch and finish from Bailey. But that was the start of the game. This one in particular, I don't understand what Man United are trying to do, because you've got the front half of the team trying to press, but the back line need to get up to close the space so they can win the ball back. It's one pass for Villa, another pass, and they're in. They're chasing shadows. Again, instead of being behind the ball in midfield, Man United, they're in front of the ball, chasing back again. But this one, I don't understand why they're in there. Van der Beek in this position here. The ball is on the left-hand side, so you've got to cut the ball that's going to go into Watkins here. OK, that can happen. But then they got caught square in midfield. It's taking one pass to get through the three midfielders. Ramsey, again, on the attack. This was from kickoff. Van der Beek, OK, is playing on number 10 role, got a little bit higher. But it's one pass, gambling in midfield, and Bailey gets another shot on goal. And they couldn't deal with this throughout the game. This one, OK, you're chasing it, you want to get a goal back. You've got 2 versus 2 at the back. Man United are actually in decent positions here. If they win the first header, goes forward. They're in a good position here. But then what happens is Casemiro goes to the ball instead of going in position. Fair play to Eriksen trying to run back and help. But it creates this massive gap for Ramsey. Van der Beek's playing as a number 10, and he's got all the way up the field. And if you talk about finding them gaps in that midfield and then third man
Those
runs.
spaces are huge. They're more than gaps.
It's ridiculous.
Cavernous.
It's ridiculous. I know they missed Fernandes today, but I think they turned up at Villa today thinking they was going to play on the ball and everything was going to be too easy. But Villa gave him a turning over in midfield today.
One of the most impressive performers on the pitch, if not the most impressive performance. And certainly when you look at the stats, he was very much up there, was Jacob Ramsey, who drove Villa forward.
He was the best player on the pitch, and when you consider some of the big names out there, that's a big compliment to him. They couldn't handle him. He was so clever. He was certainly intelligent in some of his positions. He was given the freedom to sort of drift inside. He makes that position there very difficult to pick up. Then the way to pass, it creates the first goal. I mentioned the intelligence, when and how to run. He times that to perfection, and Luke Shaw then gets the yellow card, and they score from that free kick. And he found himself in that position all afternoon. They give the go. It was just too clever for them, too good for them on the day. Look, there's that position again where he got it to touch, then to find the pass. He then finds the pass, but then look where he finds himself again. He gets on the end of it and he's really unlucky. He tries the little bit of skill and it doesn't work. And this is it. Look, this is his goal. Look where he actually comes from.
Yeah.
The distance that he covers to actually get in there, and then have the calmness to finish the way that he did. He picks his spot. Keeper's got absolutely no chance. Wow. No chance at all. And he sort of guides it into that top corner. And what a start for him. And what a start for his manager. That sends a message to the manager that he wants to stay in that team, and he keeps performing like that, he will do.
But the manager has sent a message to him as well, because he said that to us there with that.
He brought him back into the team, absolutely, and it was. And he's obviously trained well this week, and he's gone out and performed like that.
So, some games we've had today, and indeed over this Premier League weekend. One more still to come, of course, after the thrills and spills of yesterday, including that late winner for the champions Manchester City. Arsenal then going back to the top of the table by winning the London derby earlier on through Gabriel's goal. Manchester United beaten at Aston Villa. Southampton lose again, and Newcastle march on, another 4 goals for them. And Crystal Palace have won away from home for the first time in 8 Premier League matches after 3 successive home league wins. West Ham beaten by 2-1, and of course shortly our next stop will be North London for Spurs against Liverpool. So City started the day on top of the tree. Arsenal will end it 2 points clear of the reigning champions. Newcastle, temporarily at least until Spurs play Liverpool, are into the top 3, and Manchester United have missed the opportunity to close the gap on the top 4. Chelsea stay in 7th. Liverpool begin that game at Spurs down in 10th, with the opportunity to go level on points with Fulham with a couple of games in hand. Southampton couldn't get out of the bottom 3. 12 points from 14 games, 4 wins from their last 26 Premier League matches. West Ham stay on 14 points in 15th. Up to get his reaction shortly. Let's remind you exactly what happened in that tremendous start with 2 goals in 4 minutes to give them a 2-goal cushion in the first half. He couldn't have dreamt of a better script than the one he got.
Well, that's what you want. Like I say, I thought Ollie Watkins played very well, ran himself at the ground today. But like once it got into this situation on Leon Bailey's left foot, it was going to be a problem. But he's dragged Lingard out of that hold, and I'm thinking Casemiro's got to drop in there because that looks too. It just looks too big. There's a massive space there. And once he goes in there, you can see once the ball goes into Leon Bailey there, he's on his strong foot. It could have been avoided. Obviously, if they were had their wits about them there, but Casemiro, very surprised, didn't see that.
And then Michael, this free kick from Digne.
Yeah, perfect. From a left-footed point of view, nice little position. Mentioned at half-time. I don't know. That's a short way to goal. You know, that's where the left foot is always going to put it. You know, I question whether the wall could be the other way. Also, the two Aston Villa players were blocking the sight of David De Gea. But that's the problem. That's why I'm saying you could buy yourself more time by putting the wall on the other side and encouraging a shot into the far corner. But it was a lovely finish by Digne. And as I say, what a perfect start for a new manager. You know, 2-0 up after, 4 or 5 minutes. It's a dream start for him.
United's only goal of the day was a fortuitous one as well, just before half-time.
That sums them up. That's what's their day about. Just luck. The execution was not great, but it was a big deflection and then it went in. And Man United was the whole game really second best, and they deserved nothing out of the game. Aston Villa was superb and they deserved everything that they got.
And the goal inside the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Well, it's a perfect time to score, Steve, because they would have gone into that half thinking, yeah, 2-0, we can go in there buzzing, but they scored a goal. It took a little bit of shine off, but then Villa just came out in the second half and they just picked up where they left off in the first 10-15 minutes. You know, no one's tracking Jacob Ramsey into the box. I think Ollie Watkins does brilliantly. Look him out of space he's in, does brilliantly to pick him out, and then it's composure. Composure.
Brilliant finish.
You know, yeah, and a beautiful finish. You know, and they deserved it, because I thought that in the second half, Villa started to drop a little bit too deep, and then they invited Man United on, whereas there wasn't a lot of creativity from Man United. But in the second half, they came out and instantly put the game to bed with the third goal.
The supporters helped the team a lot, and the energy was amazing. And the energy they transmit us, and we transmit the response is playing with space, good spaces, with good rhythm, and then with our skills. And I think the players they feel so good here at home. And now I want to use this match, this result, to take the balance when we are going to play away.
Wasn't that great seeing him walk down the touchline? And he was trying not to, go over the top. There's a little punch and a big smile. He was. I think we always said if you succeeded Alex Ferguson or Arsene Wenger, it was going to be really, really difficult. Maybe just Arsenal, wrong place, wrong time. He's got a tremendous record in Europe and in Spain, won the Europa League with Villarreal, got to the semi-final of the Champions League with Villarreal.
There's no doubt, and he's a quality manager, and it's also no surprise to see him back in the Premier League, because he wants another go at it.
He does, yeah.
He wasn't successful at Arsenal for whatever reason. As you mentioned, following successful managers before you is never easy, but he has real belief in himself. He understands what he wants to achieve as a manager. He's come in, and Aston Villa have hit the ground running. They're a team that are hot or cold, Dion, at the minute. You know, Steven Gerrard goes, they score 4, then they go to Newcastle and concede 4, then they play really, really well again today. So there's real potential within that team if he can point them in the right direction.
It's a good club, isn't it? It's a good club. It's a big club, Villa, you know. It's a really big club.
What, the European Cup? That's how big they are.
If you can turn that club around, the fans will always be there. Villa Park will always be packed. Get the players to believe, get the fans to believe, get them on the same page. Could be good.
It could be great. And you've got a new manager and you score within 7 minutes. I mean, that couldn't be better, could it? It all comes together. They get an early goal and suddenly everybody starts to just think, oh, this is good.
Well, this is, you know, the Villa players now, they've got a manager that's just come in and they are thinking, right, I want to play. So the levels go up, Oz, don't they? You know, panic sets in.
And it's a dream start. Really good run, that from Leon Bailey. Realises there's space in behind, spins in. And this is something I haven't seen since he joined Aston Villa from Everton. He was scoring free kicks from this distance with real regularity. And he shows the quality, he shows his ability, and they need to see more of that. But look at the delight. Unai Emery absolutely made up that his team started in that way. And they never really gave Manchester United a chance today. They dominated the game. United's goal was a fortunate deflection. And Aston Villa just looked like a...
Well, Ramsey had a goal, an assist and an own goal. he had the full house today, didn't he?
Really good finish that is, by the way. And look at the Callum Blue shirts trying to get into good goal-scoring positions, waits and waits and waits. He's waiting for his options. He's not going to go into an area where he has to do anything quick. He waits, and that's the only space. If you look there, look, that's the only little gap he can put it in, right into the top corner. No real pressure on him. No players putting their body on the line, and
Villa deserved it just through sheer energy.
He's a good player.
He is, yeah, and he's only going to get better as well.
Yeah.
Why that today from Manchester United? What do you put that down to?
I just put it down to Villa being better. Villa being to every ball, every second ball, first ball, finishing was better. Man United didn't create loads of chances either. Just got beaten by the better side. It's as simple as that today.
But that's concerning about Manchester United. We're talking about Manchester United here that were just not as good as Aston Villa. Didn't compete as much as Aston Villa. Didn't deserve anything from the game. That's a worry.
Erik ten Hag not happy because he completely recognised that, didn't he? He admitted that.